scattered across the globe are tiny villages and towns that seem to exist in another reality. Places so bizarre, you'd swear someone made them up. Like a desert oasis with a population of under 100. A town where death is technically illegal. Or a village that went decades without sunlight until someone installed a giant mirror to fix it. Even entire communities living inside one building. In this video, we're exploring 10 of the world's most bizarre and fascinating places, each with a story that's stranger than fiction. Let's dive in. 1. Huacachina, Peru, the desert's hidden oasis. Tucked away in the Peruvian desert, Huacachina is a breathtaking natural oasis surrounded by the tallest sand dunes in South America, some soaring over 300 feet. Just 3 miles from the city of Ica, known for its wine and pisco, this tiny village is home to around 100 residents. Despite its remote setting, the oasis is easily accessible by car or tuk-tuk from Ica. What makes Huacachina so magical? A natural underground spring feeds the lagoon, allowing palm trees and lush greenery to thrive in the middle of the arid desert. With temperatures hovering around 25 to 30 degrees Celsius year-round, it's a warm escape all year long. Locals rely mainly on tourism, offering dune buggy adventures, sandboarding, and a peaceful desert escape. Surprisingly, the area is rarely hit by sandstorms, as the high surrounding dunes help block most of the harsh winds. 2. Furore, Italy, the village that was hidden on the map. Tucked into a narrow fjord on Italy's west coast, Furore is a tiny cliffside village once known as the Invisible Town. With no main square and homes scattered along the cliffs of the Campania region, it was so hidden that even drivers on the coastal road didn't realize it was there. To fix that, the village mayor launched a bold plan. Locals were asked to paint their houses in bright colors and cover them with artistic murals. Now, Furore bursts with vibrant reds, yellows, and blues, putting it firmly back on the map. Furore overlooks the Fiordo di Furore, a dramatic seaside gorge with turquoise waters and sheer rock walls. But it's not easy to get to. Cars can only reach certain upper spots, and from there, it's hundreds of stone steps down to reach the heart of the village. With around 800 residents, life here is peaceful and simple. Most locals work in small-scale farming, fishing, or the growing tourism trade. The steep terrain keeps things quiet. There are no large roads, just stairs and paths clinging to the cliffs. 3. Mawsynram, India, the wettest village on Earth. Mawsynram, a remote village tucked in the Khasi hills of Meghalaya, eastern India, holds a world record. It receives over 11,880 millimeters of rain annually, making it the wettest place on Earth. That's 11 times more than Glasgow and 22 times more than rainy London. To put it into perspective, it's enough to flood the 98-foot-tall Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro up to its knees. Perched near the Bay of Bengal in Bangladesh, the village sits right in the path of long, relentless monsoons. Add the Himalayas into the mix, acting like a massive wall that traps rain clouds and blocks them from escaping. And the result is rain that can last for days, sometimes an entire week without pause. But it's not just the numbers that are wild. Rain in Mawsynram is an experience. It's loud, heavy, and constant. Locals say it's not just heard, it's felt. We can touch, smell, and taste the clouds every single day, one villager said. To cope, villagers have developed some clever adaptations. They use a traditional rain shield called a nup, a giant cone-shaped umbrella made from bamboo and banana leaves that covers the entire upper body. It frees up their hands to work while staying dry from head to thigh. Homes are built with extra thick walls and sloped rooftops to drain water quickly. Clothes are dried indoors, often above fire pits, or with heated stones, because leaving laundry outside is pointless. Most people own several sets of waterproof clothing, and walking barefoot is often easier than trying to keep shoes dry. The constant downpour affects every part of life. Streets turn into rivers, schools shut down because kids can't hear the teachers, and landslides or blackouts are always lurking. After heavy rains, roads are often buried by mudslides, and local men are paid about $2.66 a day to help clear the paths by hand. Still, Mawson Ram attracts about 10,000 curious travelers each year, mostly from the US and UK. People who want to witness what life is like in a place where dry days are rare and umbrellas are practically useless. A guided 2-day, 1-night tour starts at just $85, but don't expect sunshine. If the rain lets up even for a few hours, that's considered lucky. In Mawson Ram, rain isn't just weather, it's a way of life. 4. Viganella, Italy. The village that uses a mirror to borrow the sun. Viganella sits in a deep valley in northern Italy, beautiful, quiet, and completely sunless for 83 days every winter. From November to February, the surrounding mountains block out the sun entirely. The village falls into cold, gray shadow. No sunlight, at all. So in 2006, the locals came up with a bold fix, a giant mirror. They installed a 26-foot-wide computer-controlled mirror high on the mountainside. It tracks the sun and reflects sunlight straight into the village square. Just like that, Viganella went from total shade to a spotlight of warmth and brightness, right in the middle of winter. It doesn't heat the village or light up every street, but it's enough for people to gather in the square, enjoy the glow, and feel alive. 5. Tsovkra, Russia. The village, where everyone walks a tightrope. Welcome to Tsovkra, a tiny mountain village in Dagestan, Russia, where 400 people share one unbelievable skill. Here, tightrope walking isn't a circus trick, it's a local tradition. For generations, nearly every resident has been able to walk a rope stretched high above the ground. Legend has it that men in Tsovkra 1 learned to walk tightropes as a shortcut to find love. Tired of hiking over mountains for days just to visit women in neighboring villages, they figured a rope across a valley was faster. Most people don't buy that theory, though. Locals say it was more about crossing rivers when the bridges were out. Whatever the reason, the skill stuck. Kids here grow up learning balance the way others learn to ride bikes. Tsovkra has even produced dozens of professional tightrope performers who've wowed crowds across Russia and beyond. And while the tradition has slowed with time, the spirit's still alive. In Tsovkra, walking the line isn't just a show, it's a way of life. 6. Longyearbyen, the town where you're not allowed to die. Welcome to Longyearbyen, Norway, the Arctic town where dying is technically illegal. Why? Because the ground's too frozen for bodies to decompose. Thanks to the permafrost, anything buried here stays perfectly preserved. Bacteria, viruses, and all. Back in the 1950s, scientists found that some corpses still carried live viruses. So Norway said, nope, no more dying here. If you're terminally ill, they'll fly you over 1,200 miles to mainland Norway. Sounds harsh? Maybe. But it's also for real. No one wants a zombie virus thawing out in the Arctic. 7. Busingen am Hochrhein, the German town, trapped in Switzerland. Welcome to Busingen am Hochrhein, a German town completely surrounded by Switzerland. Yep, it's the jelly in a Swiss donut. On paper, it's German, but in daily life, totally Swiss. They earn Swiss francs, use Swiss electricity, and set their clocks to Swiss time. Home to about 1,500 residents, Busingen was once part of Austria. In 1805, it officially became German territory through the Treaty of Pressburg. Then, in 1918, a local referendum showed that 96% of the population actually wanted to become Swiss. But nothing ever changed. This place is so split, it has 2 postal codes, 2 phone systems, and 2 police forces. Get arrested here? Your court depends on which country's cops showed up first. Their soccer team, FC Busingen. It's the only German team that plays in the Swiss League. So yeah, Busingen is technically German. But practically, it's the most Swiss-German town that ever existed. 8. Whittier, Alaska, the town that lives in one building. In most towns, people live in houses, apartments, or maybe a condo. But in Whittier, Alaska, almost the entire town lives under one roof. That's right. 85% of Whittier's population lives inside a single 14-story building called Begich Towers. It's not just where people sleep. This place has a post office, grocery store, police station, laundromat, church, even a bed and breakfast. It's like a small city stuffed into one giant apartment block. Why? Well, Whittier gets slammed with brutal snowstorms and crazy winds, up to 60 miles an hour. So instead of fighting the weather, they just brought the whole town inside. In the winter, kids don't even have to go outside to get to school. There's a tunnel connecting the tower to the school building. It's cozy, practical, and just a little bit like living in a real-life episode of The Truman Show. 9. Colma, California, the town where the dead outnumber the living by a lot. Just outside San Francisco, there's a little town where the dead outnumber the living by more than 1,000 to 1. Welcome to Colma, California. Population 1,500 living souls and roughly 1.5 million deceased ones. Yep, you heard that right. For every living person here, there are about 1,000 residents who don't talk much. So, how did Colma become the City of Souls? Back in the early 1900s, San Francisco decided cemeteries were taking up too much space. So they passed a law banning new burials and even evicted the old ones, digging up tens of thousands of bodies and moving them to Colma. The result? Colma is now home to more cemeteries than Starbucks. There are 17 graveyards, including ones for pets, pioneers, and even one just for nuns. Locals have a pretty morbid sense of humor about it, too. The town's motto? It's great to be alive in Colma. But here's the thing. Colma isn't spooky. It's surprisingly peaceful. The people who live here, you know, the living ones, say it's quiet, respectful, and full of history. Plus, it's one of the few places in California where you can say, "My neighbors are super quiet," and really mean it. So if you're looking for a town where the past is always present, and the rent is a little more reasonable, Colma might be calling from beyond. 10. Cândido Godoy, Brazil's mysterious town of twins. Welcome to Cândido Godoy, aka the Land of Twins. The nickname's not just cute, it's posted right at the entrance. This tiny town in southern Brazil has a jaw-dropping twin birth rate, 1,000 times higher than the global average. Out of just 600 people, over 700 sets of twins have been born here. So what's going on? One theory points to Joseph Mengele, Hitler's infamous Angel of Death. After fleeing to South America, it's said he carried out twisted experiments here to create a master Aryan race, starting with identical twins. But geneticists later discovered something less sinister, though still weird. Many twin moms in town carry a rare gene linked to double pregnancies. And with a tight-knit German-speaking community and high rates of inbreeding, that gene just kept circling. Science or secret Nazi experiments? So the world isn't just full of cities and suburbs, it's also home to mirror-lit valleys, coin-sized islands, and towns where the line between reality and fiction gets seriously blurry. Which of these places would you dare to visit? Or maybe live in? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this wild trip around the globe, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable stories from the world's most fascinating corners. See you in the next adventure.